Well, it's not that you couldn't get an answer. The problem was you couldn't get the perfect answer. For years and years, the way to tackle this was with something called numerical approximation. Now, the best way to think about this is, imagine a super blurry, pixelated photo. You can kind of tell it's a cat, right? But you can't see the individual whiskers, the fine details. It's close enough, but it's not the real thing. And this slide really hits the nail on the head. On one side, you have that blurry, inexact approximation. It's always got some errors. It's just good enough. But on the other side is the Holy Grail, a crystal clear, mathematically perfect, symbolic solution. We're talking about the real answer. So for the longest time, getting from that blurry picture to the high definition one for equations this crazy just seemed, well, impossible. There was a huge historical barrier standing in the way. And this was the barrier. A big one. It's called Abel's theorem. It's this major rule in algebra that basically says once you get to polynomials of the fifth degree or higher, there's no single one-size-fits-all formula to find their exact roots using just the basic stuff like square roots and cube roots. It was like a giant mathematical stop sign. But here's the thing about stop signs. What if you could find a different route, a new path? This is the big turning point, where a totally fresh idea came along and challenged those centuries-old limits. And this is the key we were talking about. Professor Morad Sultan Azudi came up with a new theorem. Now what's so cool is that it doesn't break Abel's theorem, it just finds a brilliant way around it. It's a whole new method built specifically to hunt down those perfect, precise answers for the exact kinds of equations everyone thought were unsolvable.
So how in the world does it work? Well, the genius here is that instead of trying to wrestle with that monster equation, the theorem completely transforms the problem itself. It uses a special formula to go through and systematically rebuild the equation's components, turning it into something way, way simpler.
All right, this is where it gets really good. This is where we get to see the true power of this new approach. We're about to go from total mathematical chaos to some beautiful, beautiful clarity. So let's bring back that intimidating monster of an equation, right? The one that looked like a complete mess. And after Azuidi's theorem does its thing, it gets boiled down to this. How amazing is that? All of that complexity is transformed into this elegant, clean, and most importantly, completely solvable equation. And I have to say this again. This is not another blurry photo. As Professor Azuidi says himself, this new version doesn't give you a close enough answer. It gives you a direct path to the actual, precise, solvable roots. No more guesswork. And ta-da! Here it is, the exact symbolic solution. Now I know it might look a little complicated itself, but trust me, this is beautiful. This one elegant formula has everything you need to calculate every single one of the 13 perfect roots with absolute precision. This is that crystal clear, high definition answer that people thought was impossible to find. So, we have the answer. That's awesome. But so what? Why does this matter so much? What makes this kind of precision so incredibly powerful? Well, it's because in the real world, good enough can sometimes be a disaster. I'm talking about fields like physics, engineering, and computer science. In those areas, tiny little errors from an approximation can build on each other and lead to huge failures. Having precise, exact solutions is absolutely crucial for building models you can trust and guaranteeing accuracy. So you see, this isn't just about solving one tricky puzzle, it's way bigger than that. It's a fundamental breakthrough in how we approach these problems. This really is a major step forward for mathematics, opening up all kinds of new possibilities. And that kind of leaves us with this final amazing thought, right? This whole story is a perfect reminder that the things we think are impossible are really just problems we haven't solved yet. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other impenetrable walls in science, in technology, and anything are out there right now, just waiting for one more brilliant idea to come along and make them crumble?